Good morning, boys and girls. I'm so glad that you could join me. Reverend Kim here, checking in yet again on another week that we are not able to be together. I have a question for you. What kind of surprises do you think people like? Well, I think people like surprises like a party, maybe surprises like an unexpected gift, maybe flowers, maybe when somebody makes their favorite supper. Those are wonderful surprises. I wonder what surprises people don't like so much. I think maybe people don't like the surprise of becoming sick or getting some bad news about something, or when plans get canceled. We've had to deal with that a little bit lately, haven't we? Absolutely. I'm asking these questions because I wanted us to think a little bit about surprises today. Because in the Bible reading that I'm going to read to you in a moment, Jesus tells a story or a parable that has surprises in it. So I want you to listen very carefully. Let me just grab my Bible. There was a farmer who had a big field. He planted wheat seeds all over the whole field, and the wheat began to grow. It looked like a nice green lawn. But in the middle of the night, the wind blew different seeds on the field. Weeds, plants that didn't belong there. So when the wheat grew tall, so did the weeds. One of the people who helped the farmer came and asked, "What shall we do? Do you want us to go onto the field and pull out all of the weeds?" "No, don't do that," said the farmer. "If you pull out all the weeds, you will pull out the wheat too. Just let the weeds and the wheat grow together." So that's what they did. When the wheat was big and tall, it turned into a nice golden color. "Now it's time to gather the seeds of the wheat," said the farmer. "But take the weeds and put them to the side in a pile. Then I will burn the weeds, but I will keep the wheat." In the story that you just heard, Jesus tells us that there was a field of grain that people had planted. However, it turned out that when the wheat grew, or the grain grew, weeds sprouted up as well. Now that was certainly an unexpected surprise to the workers. We then heard that the workers wanted to pull the weeds out, but before they did something really smart. They checked it out with their boss to see what they should do. And the workers asked their boss, "Should we pull out those surprise weeds? What do you think about that?" Do you remember what the boss told them? The boss gave them a surprising answer. The boss said, "No, don't do that, because pulling out the weeds will hurt the grain more than it will hurt the weeds to grow in the grain. Let the wheat and the grain grow together." It was a good thing that the workers didn't pull out the weeds, right? They would have done more harm than good. When I first started speaking with you today, we were talking about there's lots of surprises that happen to us. Some we like, and some we don't. And whether we like the surprise or not, surprises often force us to make a new plan. One of the reasons Jesus tells this story, I think, is to remind us to ask for God's help when we are surprised, and then help us to make a new plan. Which is what we saw in the story, right? The workers were surprised by the weeds. They made a plan, but then they asked their boss what they should do. And just like the workers changed their plan for better after checking in with their boss, we too can adjust our plans as we invite God into the surprises we experience and the plans we make to deal with those surprises. We've had to change a lot of plans in the last few months, all the way from school plans to plans for vacation, for plans for getting together with friends. We've had to change our plans. And when we ask God to help us decide what to do, we invite God into our feelings of surprise and our surprising moments. Then we will be able better to plan and respond to our surprises in a way that does less harm and more good for ourselves and those around us. And that's the good news for today. I'm wondering if you would do an echo prayer with me. Let us pray. Dear God, thank you that you are with us and willing to help us, even in moments of surprise. Thank you. Amen. Boys and girls, I'm so glad that you were able to join me today. I just need to let you know that Reverend Kim is going to take a couple of weeks off, so I won't be online for a couple of weeks. I'll be back at the beginning of August, and so I will see you then. Be safe, be healthy, be good, and don't forget, wash your hands.